Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. I'm your host, Chris Gennaro. My co-host is Rizk, and today we have N.A.M.E. How you guys doing?
It's going
all right. Fantastic. Wonderful.
Okay.
I'm
full. I just had a burrito, so I feel great.
That's excellent. N.A.M.E. I think, and some of your logos don't have the periods. I know that's an acronym, so it's usually in the cap letters.
Yeah.
Let's get right into it. 2020, you guys were going to do a reunion, not a reunion, a anniversary tour for your album Internet Killed the Audio Star, but that got all fucked up, obviously.
Yeah, there was a lot of plans to do stuff. Like, amidst us doing a follow-up to, You're Mostly Nowhere, we're like, you know what? This is kind of fun. Like, it kind of snuck up on us, and we're like, shit, 10 years. So we wanted to do dates, and we had like things in mind, some bands that we love. Everything was really in motion to do some touring stuff, and then we were going to do a 10-year anniversary release, a re-release of the record, and stuff like that. So everything kind of just came to a screeching halt, and we weren't really prepared for it.
Was that going to be with a different label?
Well, we have the licensing from Life Force to be able to put that out, so we did. But we were going to be doing it through our own label, Wolves Recordings, but by doing that. But we actually, for the vinyl release, we were going to be working with another label to do just a limited vinyl run. So we're still all kind of in the works with that right now because, everything got shelved because of COVID. So, and we still want to do something like that, but it's just kind of difficult to sell the 11th anniversary of anything, So
that's an odd number. That doesn't, it's not satiating.
11 commandments, get the fuck out.
Okay.
Why not though? That kind of sounds funny, like the 11th anniversary.
I honestly, knowing us, Jeremy, I think you and I made a joke about that. Like, we kind of find to do that. We're like, the 11th anniversary, like on the cover, the whole thing, just something super awkward. And I think I would honestly like to do that because I think everyone knowing what happened with COVID, that would actually kind of make sense. It'd be kind of funny for like, why it's the 11th anniversry, you know what I mean? Because 10 just disappeared off the planet, so.
Some people aren't really good at math, though, so they're going to be like, what? What is that? Why? Why? Are they that self-gratified that they need to have that shit? 11 years?
And then next year's going to be the 12 year,
Yeah.
It's just every year. It's like 12, 13, 14.
We're going to stop doing new records. We're just going to re-release the first one every year.
Every year. I like that idea. I don't think that's ever been done. Reissue.
and just remaster it every time. Just
totally. Until it's like super overproduced. And, yeah.
It's so loud. It's just bricked.
It's just totally.
Director's cut, extended cut.
Yeah. We'll do one
final
commentary.
Commentary.
So you mentioned Wolves Recording. What's the background in there? Like, what's the deal with that?
Jeremy, do you want to do that one?
Just an imprint that we decided to want to release some stuff on because it was once we figured out how to do some self-releases and put out the tethers to get things digitally released and through some publications and some vinyl pressing companies that are local here, we figured out how to do that shit. And so we're like, all right, well, we can probably just do this ourselves and cut out the middleman, and we can just basically take all the profit and have all the control in our hands rather than having to do it, through something else. It's a pain in the ass. It was a huge learning process for us to do it. And so, but we figured it out, and we decided, that we wanted to have an imprint to release our stuff and some cool things. So
a lot of side project stuff too. It's we're learning as we go, but like you said, it eliminated the middleman, and it made it easier for like all the funding that comes into the label from that can help fund future things that we want to do with this band or our side projects or whatever else it may be. And it helps kind of bring things directly to like the listener, because we thought, especially making it accessible digitally is kind of where the age is at right now, which is kind of the whole purpose of like what Kill the Audio sort of thing. We knew it was going there, but there's still those that kind of like the tangible, the collectors. So we wanted to do something limited vinyl for collectors that want all the artwork, something unique and in their hands. How we are, like we like to have physical presses. We like to buy T-shirts at the shows. We like to buy records at the shows. So we wanted to kind of appeal to both crowds and kind of just eliminate CDs are kind of a dead medium now. You know what I mean? It's a dead format, really. And we thought as long as we just kind of make it accessible for everyone to hear it if they want to, that's really what the end game was by running our own little imprint label. So it's just kind of nice to kind of keep everything in house. And who knows if that's going to be how future releases go, but I think it really worked with us having to spend so much time, especially getting off of Life Force, because we needed to do that. And this just allowed us to kind of lit a fire under our ass to kind of get shit done.
Okay. Is there some story behind getting off of Life Force, or it just wasn't?
It was it no longer became like a healthy relationship, you know?
Okay.
Like we had the deals with them, and then it just got harder to communicate with them because the guy who like signed us went back to his previous label, and then we had to deal with the big guy, and then people in Europe, and it just became so convoluted that we just kind of felt like we were just you know, part of like this foster child kind of situation. And when we signed originally, we signed with them because we said we want to do the music we want to do. We want complete licensing over our stuff and complete creative control. So we'll take much less of anything else just to have complete control over our music. And they agreed to it. Other labels didn't, and so, you know, fuck off later. But they backed us with that. And so then when things and kind of the personnel changed, it became harder to get on the same page. And so when we wanted to do follow-ups, it just became increasingly difficult to get them on the phone, and just talked about what was going on. And then when we did, they're like, hey, have you heard this band? And we're like, yeah, we've seen them all the time. Maybe try writing stuff like that. It's like, no, man. Yeah. So then when they started sending me like 8-string gent shit this, and it was like, we're not that band. We're just not that band. We're like, if anything, we're doing weirder, darker, more ambient stuff. And we're like, we're always going to make different records. And this guy was like, how about we lock down 2 records and you do stuff like this? And then he started like cutting off like pieces of the first record, like highlighting them and going, this part in your song is really good. You should make more songs just like that part. When I got that, was like, all right, this is no longer a healthy relationship. And then we had to do some shit to get off. And then, so that kind of also, I mean, we needed to get off because it was very constricting, but it kind of took the wind out of our sails too. You know what I mean? It's kind of depressing. You're like, well, shit, fuck, like, really? This is where we're at? You know what I mean? At the time, too, was that we had lost members and we're trying to, you know, do this follow-up, and it was kind of a pain in the ass, which is kind of all contributed to why it took so long to get the next release out, you know.
I guess let's get into your discography, because you got basically 3 albums. Let's say the Internet Killed the Audio Star, the Sounds from the North, which is, I guess, your live album right in the middle there, and then the You Are Mostly Nowhere. And there's definitely a difference between those 3. And I was kind of curious, like, how much you wanted to do, how much just happened, and sort of talk about the labels, if anybody puts to your music. Because, like, I always figured that the first album to me was very like grindcore, but experimental grindcore.
I mean, I can't even begin to quantify the amount of stylization references we've gotten for the first record. All I know is that it's a fucking obnoxious amount of music. We know that. And because I can't remember who said it, but someone said, like, you have your entire life to write your first record. And so we pretty much just was like, content is key, man. And we put it out to be like, here's 13 fucking songs on the first record so that we can always play different songs. If we toured with softer bands, we'd adjust the set to play softer songs, and heavier so we can play, but we're still always playing our stuff. But it allowed us to play every song on the record and not just like the same 4 all the time. So
it was the same 4 all the time.
Huh?
It was the same 4 songs.
We switched them. We switched. We have like the same
5 songs.
5.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Well, now it's like 3 songs if we want to do a full set. But
oh, I know, right?
If we're doing a supporting set, we can play 3 songs easily, because with as the albums went on, it got fewer tracks but longer in length. So I don't know. I guess that wasn't really a premeditated thing to kind of do that as far as the content.
It was just like a natural, because I mean, we listen to fucking everything, so we wanted to pretty much You Were Mostly Nowhere was set to be the record that we wanted to make that was idolizing like 70s prog rock bands without having to sound like prog rock. You know, it's prog rock for people who do not like prog rock, because we recorded it live in a room together, just the three of us recorded it pretty much one or two takes, just in a room, just straight to analog reel, like a 2-inch tape, and it was awesome. It was one of the seamless, easy recording experiences I think we've ever done. We might have been over prepared because we'd already been playing the songs for like 2 or 3 years, and they kind of morphed and kind of shifted and just made its natural progression towards that. And then we were like, we rehearsed the shit out of this. We knew these songs in our sleep, and so we just went into Atomic Garden Studios when it was in Palo Alto and recorded this guy named Jack Shirley and made this big sounding record. This was 3 people in a room, so it's gratifying to be able to do that and have kind of a little more focused effort coming from internet, because I think we kind of threw everything at the wall with Internet Killed the Audio Star, and we just did it as just being basically the stuff that we liked, being self-gratifying in that regards of having all this music that we just wanted to see what it sounded like when Wes and I at the time were just creating stuff, and some of it stuck and carried with us, and it still inspired us to make the sounds that we did on those next records.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy joining like during that process, just because I've known of N.A.M.E since I was in high school. Like they were playing venues around me, like all the chaotic stuff when I was just a wee tyke going to shows. I mean, we're not that far apart in age, but just they were doing a lot more musically, and I was just getting into like that scene and stuff. So when I actually joined, I was under the impression like, oh, it's just going to be like internet stuff. And then they showed me all the stuff for You're Mostly Nowhere, and it was like a trip, because my background is mostly like metalcore, hardcore punk, like, lots of China cymbals and all that kind of stuff. So to go from that to, I'd say, more nuanced stuff like You're Mostly Nowhere was definitely a good, like, not just it was a great experience. It helped me grow as a musician. I learned how to do like ghost notes, and I just focused on a few different aspects of my playing that I kind of neglected over my like younger years. And like Jeremy said, like the whole recording experience was definitely like, it was a moment for sure. Like 1 or 2 takes per song, just like a few punch-ins here and there. But yeah, it was rad. And it's great that we got to do that together, and that we got to do stuff off of that record for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that was incredibly exciting and terrifying at the same time when we did that record. But it was great. Like Jeremy said, we could have been maybe like over prepared. Like we rehearsed a lot with it. We reworked these songs, but as Armando said, we just did a couple takes of each song. So they always kind of mutated each time. So like the ways we did them, what you hear on the record, they were slightly different the other 1 or 2 times we ran through them. You know what I mean? And so it was really exciting to kind of be under a microscope. And we've been playing music, separately and together for so long now, that it was interesting. It felt good to kind of feel nervous again. You know what I mean? It was a good challenge, instead of just going in there and just going, we're just doing the next record, But it made sense for the kind of people we are and the kind of music that we enjoy and that we're making together. It just made the most sense to do it that way.
Mm-hmm. What was it like working with Jack Shirley? He has a very extensive resume. I've seen like Jeff Rosenstock, Gulch, Gouge Away, many other, Amun-Ra, many other bands.
Yeah, I love Jack, man.
He made me vegan ice cream. That was pretty cool.
Made you vegan ice cream, right?
Yeah, vegan Oreo ice cream. And Jeremy was like, "Is there more?" After you ran out,
on his like gear list at the bottom of it, the gear list, he listed it like, he goes, "Hey, vegan ice cream flavors available," and I'm like, "Is this for real?" And like day one in the studio, I was like, "Hey man, do you make vegan ice cream?" He's like, "Oh yeah."
That's funny, because that's completely fucking true. We're going over amp lists. We're going over all this shit, and then Jeremy's like, "Hey, I saw the ice cream thing. Do you do that?" He's like, "Yeah, totally." And Jeremy's like,
And then like the 3rd or 4th session, he gave me a pint of vegan ice cream. I was like, "Oh, shit,
delicious."
I mean, but it was amazing working with him. The guy is just super laid back. He's definitely like an engineer's engineer. Like but he's not so much of a producer, not really in your face. And I think at the time it was a stark contrast from working with Sam Pura at Panda Studios, because Sam is very in your face, like this, getting shit done, whereas Jack is pretty much the antithesis of that. But it was really good. It was a very fluid experience. It was very just easy just to communicate and to have the same, it was pretty much all on the same page, like right from the get-go. And he was able to help realize our vision of what we wanted to do.
Totally. The biggest thing I love is his communication skills. Like so him and I was going through different studios trying to find something that would make sense. And then we talked about, oh, what about this guy? And I was like, and I found Jack because I know what he's done like with Punch and stuff. So, and Amon Ra. So I was like, it'd be something different. And he's kind of local and it'd be kind of fun. But then when we started talking, we were on the phone for like 2 hours. And we just talked about music, talked about what we wanted to do, where we were going, what happened. I talked about the label stuff. And then he's like, okay. And he goes, at the end of the conversation, he goes, hey, I just have an idea about you. I think it'll really work for you guys. What do you guys think about doing it all on tape? And it was like what? Like analytics? Like, yeah, I go, we've talked about that for years, because like he said, like Jeremy said, we love prog records like that, where like some of the best albums of all time were just like done one take all together on a thing, So we were like, I was like, oh shit, well, fuck. Yeah, we've always talked about it, but never really knew it could be like an actual thing. And then he was like, well, I think that would be best sounding for you guys. I think that's going to be what's really going to do what you want to do. And I was like, fuck, all right. Thought about it for like 30 minutes after we got off the phone. And I called these guys about like, yeah, well, what do you guys think? And the fact that he just set the bar there, just like fearless enough to talk to me about it, but wasn't pushy about anything. And the first meeting we had at the studio too, he was like, hey, so how active do you want me to be involved as a producer? Like, well, we kind of have what we want to do in mind. He goes, okay, well, if I feel like something, if I have an idea, I'll talk to you about it, but I'm going to let you guys do your thing and let us produce it kind of, And he was just like, all right. And it was nothing stressful about it. And so when something was like, I feel like this amp would sound better, we tried some crazy things that I never would have thought of, but he was like, we should do this. And like just weird ways of recording. And when I was doing guitar dubs and stuff, it was super interesting and unique, but it was such an easy process. It was amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
You mentioned a little bit about doing some supporting shows and obviously the tours. I was kind of curious, like who you would be opening up for and who you would be touring with.
With when you talk about when we were doing the audio sardines?
Yeah, before the pandemic, obviously.
Well, I mean, some of them were all kind of up there, so I can't mention too much because we still might try to make it happen. But all this brand shit. But I mean, there's certain bands that we talked to that, like one band I can clearly say because we talked about it for a long time. Was a band that we were in love with that we wouldn't be a band without them, was Candiria. And so Candiria, when I was talking, so we played some dates with them, and then we became friends with them, and they're fucking awesome. They're good friends now, but we still nerd the fuck out on them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's undeniably, we just like, oh my God, and it's just weird, like, and so we mentioned doing something like that when I went to go see them when they played Warped Tour, which I think was super random bill for them to be on. But because Amir played right after them, and I fucking hated that. It sucked. But we were talking about it. I was like, oh yeah, it'd be kind of cool to do these dates, like with the anniversary coming up in like a year or two or something like that. And they're like, oh, fucking, we'll keep us posted. You know what I mean? I was like, okay. And then maybe subconsciously in my head, I was on the phone with Mike McIver, his bass player, and he was like, so what's up? Like, how you doing? Like, what's going on? What's new with you guys? How you like? And I'm like, okay, told him we're trying to do these, and maybe we'll do like a fly out, to the East Coast and do a little run then, because we also had talked to our boys in Mika's Murder. We did a West Coast tour with, and so I was like, hey, what if we came out to come do one with you guys out there? And those guys have been close. We've been forever. Like Frank, we've known forever. He's like he runs Metal Injection, and he's a busy guy, but we're just always go back and forth about cool ideas. And then the singer and guitar player of Mika's Murder was in N.A.M.E for a long time. He's actually on the first record, Mike Keller. So when all that conversation started floating around, Mike got wind of it. We're talking about it, and he goes, "Well, what's your guys' plan?" And then he was just like, "Hey, well, if you guys want to do something, like it'd be kind of fun if you want to do it together," kind of thing. It was like, "What the fuck did you just say?" So when he kind of pitched it, like, "Well, if you guys want to do something, like we can, keep us posted. We want to, we want to do something. We'd love to do some dates with you." I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you're asking if we want to play with you? Like, this is ridiculous." The answer is always yes, So that was kind of one of the conversations. And other ones were like different agencies were like, "Oh, it'd be kind of cool to match you with these guys and do this." And, "Oh, these are old friends. That'd be kind of cool." But everything's kind of up in the air. And we can kind of see what we can do, being that everyone's also have lives here too. So we can't do, we can do pieces here and there. But it's harder to do something more extensive unless like the lineup was like really, really something, special. But yeah, the Kanduri one was one that I sat on because I'm like, that made me want to punch COVID in the face that we didn't get to make that one an immediate reality,
Yeah, I was laughing before because when I was talking to Eric about you guys recently, I was like, yeah, I could totally see them doing shows with Candiria. So it was just kind of funny to hear for you to say that.
Yeah.
But I was saying, besides the tours that got canceled, who have you played with and done shows with that like you really enjoyed playing with?
Dillinger Escape Plan.
Yeah, you beat me to it.
The Dillinger dudes are always good. They're friends of ours, and they're fucking a great band, and we never get tired of seeing them live.
So yeah, we played a few dates with them when they've come to California and stuff. And with the last one they played on like their farewell tour, they played this small club in San Francisco called the Parkside. Parkside is like 150 capacity, being generous. Okay, and they sold like 200 tickets, so they overbooked this place, right? In this really closet of a venue that's just like, it's awesome. It's fucking awesome. And Wes actually used to work there. Mm-hmm. And but yeah, to get Dillinger there, and then and one of the bands dropped off, so like, "Hey, do you guys want to play an extended set?" We're like, "Okay," and which is pretty much just one more song, which is like 15 fucking minutes. And it was, we played a few dates with them like over the course of the past few years, but it was that particular one, like their farewell tour, and having that many bodies packed in, and everyone was really excited, and like our friends were there, and Mike Patton was there. And that was like
Jello Biafra,
and we were just like, this is not happening.
This is weird.
And so that particular one was a lot of fun.
That was one of the best shows because it was just super high intensity. The walls were sweating like a horror movie, and it was just intense. It was fun. People up front were singing songs and fucking, which was cool. But everyone was really receptive to it. And it was cool because, it was Dillinger's last little hurrah. And they did like a handful of tiny club shows before they did the last big shows, the last 3 they did in New York. And so it's just cool because they're homies, but we respect them as a band, and we, they're just amazing. But Kanduri was also another some good shows, and some fest stuff that we've done. A lot of the fest stuff that we've done is cool, and it's just a one giant homie hangout,
We also got asked to play with Paramount 5000 once, and that was fun.
I just told that story to somebody recently, actually.
Why? I mean,
we don't know. We have no idea. we have no idea.
I'll never forget that phone call.
Their booking agent calls us and is like, "Hey, we need main support for Paramount 5000. Are you guys down?" They talk to Wes, and then he first of all, he gets the call, and he does this thing, puts the phone next to him. He's like, "Hey," I was like, "What?" He's like, "Did you want to play with Paramount 5000? I was like, "What?" I've never heard that combination of words come out of your mouth before. So, and I'm like, we have to do it out of curiosity.
Yeah.
And it was weird. Like somehow, their crowd liked us.
Yeah.
And
we sold shit. They paid us well, and
It was fucking weird. They had a backstage area with all the robot suits. And
okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, they kind of, I think some of the guys got cranky at him because we kept.
That was a weird day.
Spider zombie and shit, and we were like, I wear like a white zombie shirt or something, and
well, I think one of them is related to the dude in White Zombie.
His brother.
He's his little.
Yeah.
I Rob Zombie's little brother, so I kept calling him Spider Zombie, and I wore like a white zombie shirt once we changed out of the show clothes, and we kind of heckled him, like, but that's just kind of all in love, like. We talk a lot of shit, but we're just goofy like that. But
mostly just the West talks a lot of shit.
I do talk a lot of shit. I do, but it's all in good fun. I love talking shit, and if you can laugh at it, like, we'll be friends. If you can't, then you're being a pussy. Shut the fuck up, you know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know much about them. I know I met one of the dudes at a show once, and he seemed like a nice guy. So I don't.
They have 1.5 good songs, and they've rode that for the past 15 years.
Actually, didn't the big hit Worlds Collide? I remember it.
There was that one, and then what was the Kung Fu Radio? Right, was the other one, Jeremy?
Did they close with Worlds Collide? Were they like?
Of course they did.
One?
They had their spacesuits lit up, and the people were going crazy.
Yeah, he had like the saucer helmet thing, and
a lot of green lights and spaceship noises, and
that's hilarious. That's funny. Damn.
It was like riding on Tomorrow, like a Space Mountain, but like rock and roll.
Okay. Yeah. So I feel like I've got a couple questions that I need to get to before we run out of time, and then I'll be like forever getting annoyed at myself. Wes, like you and I corresponded like years and years ago. We lost contact at some point. I don't know why, and I'm very aggravated at myself. I do need to give a shout out to Jake Binder, who reminded me that I should get you guys on. So there you go. Thank you, Jake.
Thanks, Jake. I love you wherever you are.
But one of the questions was about your weird fascination with Sigourney Weaver, and I just remember you writing me about that, and not trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. So tell us about Sigourney Weaver.
Jeremy, you want to take this?
So first of all, she's right here, by the way. That's Sigourney Weaver.
Oh,
so she sleeps above my bed. So there's that. But we love Sigourney Weaver. We also love the movie Aliens, but also Sigourney Weaver. So when writing songs, we pretty much, any working title is pretty much a Sigourney Weaver film.
This is up around the first cycle for the first record. That's what.
Yeah. So we had like the song called Killer Whales Man that was called Heartbreakers, after the movie Heartbreakers starring Sigourney Weaver.
And Jennifer Love Hewitt, right?
And Jennifer, I believe so, yeah. And then we had so the song Dave Mustaine that we have off the first album was actually originally called Dave.
Dave, yeah.
After the movie Dave that Sigourney Weaver was in, but then we also have this weird fascination with Dave Mustaine, so we're like, hey, let's call that. And then and so on and so forth. I think we had like
I'm
Aliens.
trying to think of we had.
I think Sure the Heart was Aliens 3.
Yes.
So, it was Aliens 3, not just Alien or Aliens, but it had to be Aliens 3.
Yeah, we went through all Aliens. We we did which one was Sycophant Gorillas in the Mist?
Gorillas in the Mist, yeah.
We did Gorillas in the Mist, and then I haven't thought of this in forever. We have one that I don't think made the record. The acoustic one was Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest.
Yeah. So all the working titles for the songs were named after Sigourney Weaver movies.
And if everybody who's watching, if you guys haven't seen these movies, just watch them. Sigourney is a powerful, strong, empowering woman.
I mean, if you haven't watched these movies, you're a piece of shit because she is a cinematic marvel.
Well, then I guess I'm a POS, Wes.
But
you don't watch anything. You watch. He's a filmographer, and he watches like 3 films.
Yeah, I'm a video professional. I went to film school, and I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, he can make great things with a camera. Hasn't seen much that's been filmed by Wen.
There's something kind of poetic. There's something poetic about that, though.
That's true. But honestly, it makes it really fun to like when we talk about, because Jeremy and I, we literally talk every day, but it's always usually about music or movies. So Jeremy and I have been that way since we were kids, because obviously we're brothers, so we grew up that way, and we're still that way. So it's fun that when we get to like talk to Armando about that. Like, you should check it out. He's like, all right, I'm gonna check it out. And we get this occasional text like, yo, I just saw this movie. We're like, hey, celebrate. So it is kind of fun to also kind of show some fresh airs or something like that. So he's always really open to like new movies and music and stuff like that. So it makes it kind of a fun game.
Yeah, I have a huge running list of movies I haven't seen, and every time I meet someone new, I show it to them and it just pisses them off. It's like really great.
Yeah. Armando, the long short of this is that you should just need to watch these Sigourney Weaver films to not only be a part of that history, but the band that you're in, that history too.
Just do yourself a favor, you know?
Sounds good. Sounds good, y'all.
So I feel like after Audio Star came out, and I definitely read a bunch of reviews on it that were really good, and I think you were touring. It sounded like, at least, you know, when maybe after I was corresponding with you, but still like sort of following N.A.M.E and stuff, I did hear about the bus accident. So I don't want to, I hate to take the interview to, you know, a screeching halt, but
that's fine. We can make this hilarious.
It's all about peaks and valleys, man.
You know,
it's just so great.
I was also not a part of this, so this is all Wes and Jeremy.
Yeah. It's that you want to take this? I'll take it.
Okay.
It was like about 13 or 14 years ago now, and we were on tour heading to SoCal to start like a 2 or 3 weeks tour, going through the southern states, and we were about 2 hours south of the Bay Area, and we were having this huge monolith of a vehicle, this 15-passenger, like huge van, and our back left tire blew out, and we were on the freeway in the fast lane, and then shit just skidded on, headed on traffic, and we.
Just to make this even, it actually was kind of funny. So
we'll color it a little bit.
This has little sparkles on it. We decided to take just the van because we were getting trailers for like longer tours or something like that. But we have a minimal crew. It was just the band. We had a different drummer at the time, and we had pretty much one buddy it was Steve. So we're like one merch guy, minimal tour. We're gonna share a backline with the band. It's gonna be easy, so we can just pack with the merch and everything in the van. And so we decided just to take the van. We're like, we're just doing like 2.5 weeks. It's not too bad. So we head out, but we're like, all right, we're getting ready to go. And I'm driving, and then we have an acoustic in the van. So Jerry's in the back, and then he's fucking playing Hey There Delilah. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like,
I'm trying to get everybody in a colorful mood. I'm just sitting there back there. I'm like, all right, guys, let's do merch count. We're gonna play some songs. We're gonna head down to SoCal and start this tour. Just trying to get that positive mental attitude.
So I'm kind of like fucking too. So I hit the brakes or something like that. He's like, oh, fucking. He's like, stop. So I'm fucking with him, throwing something at him. I'm like, shut the fuck up at it. And he goes, all right. He goes, so for about 30 minutes, he goes, all right, I'll play something. Okay, I'll play something different. Ding, 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 ding. Played the same song. So I was like, I'm driving, or else I'd be fucking punching you. So we're laughing, and then you just hear this, bah! And it's like, what the fuck? And he goes, Wes, what the fuck? I'm like, that wasn't me. And then we all kind of look at the side, and then we watched like the tire tear away, and it's like, that's not good. And before we could even register what was happening, it fucking, we totally like fishtailed, and then it shot us over, facing all the lanes of traffic. So we're just like sliding, watching cars come at us. We hit this concrete median, and it flips us over on top. And then we proceed to roll several times, which is one of the most like it's in the report, one of the most like the largest vehicle could roll like that. And we went and rolled, and like I went through the windshield and got trapped. He got under all the gear. Our fucking merch guy got ejected out of the side. Our drummer got smashed down onto the floor. So we kind of came to, and this is when it gets real dark. It was I was disoriented because I went to the windshield, and then the roof caved in on top of me. So my face was like smashing with like dirt and glass. So I couldn't see. I'm pulling like mud out of my eyes, and I couldn't hear anything. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, cool. I'm on tour, I'm a musician, and I'm fucking deaf. I can't hear a thing. And then I have my lips are swollen because I had glass in them. And I'm like, so I'm like kind of coming to. And then our drummer at the time, Evan, he was down, and he's kind of like shaking. He's kind of in and out of it. I see Steve's legs hanging outside the van. But then probably the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life, though, was looking back and Jeremy's legs were sticking out from under all the gear. And it was like, it was insane. He's my brother. So I was like, what? And he wasn't moving. So like I crawled over to him and fucking trying to do so. I cut the fuck out of my hand. And then he kind of, you could hear him like come to and breathe. And it was like, what the fuck?
My bass amp landed on my chest. So I couldn't say anything. I couldn't speak.
And he had a fucking fridge. So like, so yeah, all the gear. Keep in mind, we put all the merch, all the gear. Oh, by the way, all the merch flew out of the van. Hundreds of dollars worth of merch. And so there's like this little bank of water, this little river thing. And we just watched all of our merch, like all of it, floating down the river.
Whoa.
So, and then we were kind of trying to come to, and then the window started getting smashed out. And we're like, what the fuck? And then apparently there was a truck of Marines that were behind us. And they pulled over and started pulling us out of the fucking van. They kicked the windows out and they pulled us out. And then we hit the top of the hill, and then we see that the engine's on fire and the gas is leaking towards it like some shitty action movie from the 80s.
Whoa.
And so we're like, fuck. So we run back down the hill and everyone's like, get away. We're like, no, our lives are in there. You know what I mean? It's thousands of dollars of equipment. Our lives are in there. And they go, all right, fuck it. And people pulled over and they ran down the hill with us and they helped us pull our gear like up this hill.
Wow.
Because we didn't want it to fucking explode.
And a poetic moment here is that the last thing we grabbed was Wes's guitar, which is out of the case. His little Telecaster was buried under the van. We dug it out, and he grabbed it, and the thing was still in tune. So we're like,
it's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be all right. We're alive.
And that's the guitar. I've recorded every album with that guitar. I'm scared to play it live now, though. You know, what I mean, it's my baby. But I mean, it somehow got out of the case. Was strapped under the van. And I literally had to pull rocks and push the van and all this kind of shit. But yeah, it stayed in tune. So I was like, all right, things are cool.
Did the van exploded after that, or just kept caught up?
No, it was totally anticlimactic. It didn't explode or anything. I wish it did. It just got dragged up a fucking hill, towed off, and then somewhere for, fucking someone to destroy it probably later on down the road.
Got it.
It's toast.
Yeah.
God, but you guys, for all, I mean, it just sounds like a crazy accident, but you didn't have any, like, I mean, it's got to fuck you up, but it didn't, like, nobody lost a limb. Nobody had, did you have any?
No broken bones. No.
I mean, the only thing is I still have back problems from it, like pretty bad back problems.
Yeah.
Other than that, we walked away.
Wow.
That acoustic I was playing though snapped over my arm. That's the only thing. I was like, couldn't play Here to Delight anymore.
No more Delilah.
No more Delilah.
Goodbye, Delilah.
Goodbye, Delilah.
That's our side project.
Bandito.
I'm down.
That jokes.
Somebody just said side projects. Yes?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I do have a bunch of notes on that because and it's funny because when I look at Metal Archives, none of your side projects are listed because they're not really metal stuff, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes they do list non-metal stuff, but I do, I was checking out, it's Future Wife because it's a V in there, but that sounds like what it is.
Future Wife, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's so why, I guess, talk a little bit about stuff like that. I have a note here that A City Dissolving reminds me of a little bit of like the Neil Young album Dead Man for some reason, like, because it's just very atmospheric a little bit, and maybe Future Wife sounds like something I would have been listening to. Like I was very into Scorn for a couple years when I was painting, because it was just awesome, just background music that
Yeah.
So like that, it sort of but I don't know. Talk about those projects a little bit.
Well, we all have at least one, and so mine, Future Wife is a project I do with a friend of ours, Travis Von Cartier, who he actually is on our last record too. You mostly know where he does all the key work and stuff on there. But he's been like a production partner, and we just did that actually a while ago. We just managed to finish them. We did it slowly over time because N.A.M.E was still very active, so we just kind of did the stuff when we could, but it was like something we really wanted to do. So finally got to put something out. So yeah, that's like the, synth poppy kind of stuff. And then Sea Dissolving was originally stuff I was doing, like guitar score work stuff for like buddies that were doing pitch stuff for video games and, you know, and like little indie film things. And so I decided to go, well, see if I can do this live. And I played guitar, bass, and drums and synth live all at once, you know what I mean? And it was fun, but it was like very difficult. So it brought in some shows with Jeremy with me actually, and it really helped. It added a lot of layers. And then I have a project with Jeremy called Big Brother, Little Brother, where I play drums and sing, and he plays bass. And it was just like weird, dancey noise, space jazz.
Bass rock stuff.
Noodles. Oodles of noodles.
And then, I don't know, I think that's probably it. I mean, I have a lot of different things that I work on, but nothing really like, as of recent, that's been. So I'm working on something new right now that's more score based with a friend of mine, an old friend of mine who does score work herself. And so we're working on a new project that's very epic.
Yeah.
But,
and then, I work with Big Little Brother with Wes, obviously, and I have a group named Pars, which is kind of like a new wave kind of Tears for Fears worship band. Not worship like Jesus stuff, but like I worship Tears for Fears. That is my God.
You love them.
And we just finished tracking a 12-song album, and we're getting that mixed and mastered, and right now currently. And then a band called Outed, which is like grindy, noisy shit.
It's sick. You guys should all listen to it.
It's
really
fucking
good.
Awesome.
It's scary.
We're putting that out on our label too. Actually, so this is a good place for us to kind of also put our projects up. And Outed is super tight.
Is there something on Bandcamp that I can listen to? Because I didn't actually run into that when I was.
Yeah, it's outedgrind.bandcamp.com.
Yeah, everything will be up to like on Spotify, Apple Music soon, probably within the next week or two.
It's on Bandcamp though. You can find it there, but it's just 7 tracks, 7 minutes. It's really, really pissed off shit. So that's super fun. And I'm working on a project with a buddy called Cook Care Less, which is like cyber grind. So trying to keep busy.
Yeah, and I was doing like a more hardcore punk project back to my roots with some high school friends called Dead Motions. I was doing that, but we're like kind of taking a break right now because our guitarist just started his restaurant, so he's very busy with that. So no time to walk. But I'm glad he's doing his thing because he got laid off because of COVID. So just to see him like flourish during all this time and start a successful business is awesome.
He started a restaurant business. Is that what he said?
Yeah. So his spot is called Hermanos Verdes. It's over in the East Bay, over by us. It's like Mexican, Latin inspired like food. So it's like tacos, burritos, but it's like totally different ingredients. So instead of the usual fare where like vegetarian or vegan stuff is like fake meat, like trying to taste like this, they'll mostly do like vegetables. So I'm vegetarian pescatarian, so they do a jackfruit tinga. So it's the texture is like al pastor, but it's like jackfruit. It's like insane.
It takes a lot of balls to open a restaurant during COVID, and I'm sure the takeout business is awesome, right? But it's got to be a rough go, for that stuff.
Yeah, he was doing it out of his apartment, and now they're in a local marketplace by us in like less than a year, which is crazy.
Awesome.
That's fucking awesome.
That's great. Yeah.
So back to N.A.M.E. Let's talk about there. Obviously we heard about the tour stuff. Are you writing new music? Do you have new stuff coming up?
Yes. So yes and no.
Just like show that meme that you sent us today, Wes.
Oh God, I know.
It's we're ripping stuff because now it was like when the mist of everything kind of got shut down here in the Bay Area, like a lot of things were accessible to us. Not even like our studio. They're kind of like only show up if you have to. I have to show this. So this is one of these little things, right? And it says the album I expected to record when quarantine started. Second one is the EP I plan to record after feeling creatively drained a couple months into quarantine. It was the demo I settled on recording after a few more rough months in quarantine, and the one riff I wrote during quarantine that I still kind of like.
Yeah.
So that's the most relevant thing ever is that you think we had a conversation actually recently, the three of us, we're like, where you'd think at this time when everything's down, you're like, oh my God, I have so much free time on my hands. That you go, well, fuck, let's just use this time to really pound the pavement, right? But it fucking sucked. And it was energy vampire on all three of us. And we're trying to do as much as we can. We're always still writing little things, you know what I mean? But
I think for us, because like we all, the three of us work better when we're in a room together. And like now that I'll have like our own home recording gear, it's like cool. We'll like send riffs and stuff back and forth. But I think like the real natural process of really getting creative like starts with us like feeding off each other and just the loudness of the room. And I think that's where we know how we work with each other. And so having it apart, we have things saved. We've had ideas paved for like 3 years. We kind of know what we want to do. But it's just a matter of like having to get everybody back into our studio to flesh it out. And at that point, it'll be really quick process to kind of get something.
Yeah,
out.
I mean, so I think some stuff's safe to say. We've been talking about trying to get some stuff done during this time. Like maybe, okay, so here's the thing too, is that when we write music, I'd always kind of start somewhere, but sometimes it started with like, I have a song title and then now there's a theme and then Jeremy writes a bass line to it and then I'm humming a melody and then we have one riff and then Armando jams on it, but then he does a cool beat to that. So then I go, well, now I got to write something to that. So we just like, it's never one way like, hey, I wrote these things, here's the song. And there's been times where Jeremy's had a bunch of riffs too and he's come to me like, here, and I have to like, does that work? What about this? You know what I mean? And so it's cool. Every song is a little bit different the way we write it. And so we're always exploring new territories like that. And this now has been like, well, should we try to do something remote? You know, so we talk about that. Like we all have home recording stuff now. We've all kind of amped our little setups and whatever. So we might try to do that or see what happens soon to try to get some music out, just at least in the meantime, because we don't want there to be another fucking 7-year gap in between records. You know what I mean? And there probably would have been easier to get a follow-up this year had we not had last year fuck off entirely. So we're writing tons of stuff on our own, but there's certain things like, you know, ideas where like Armando was talking about, he just jams and records stuff on drums. I'm like, send me stuff like that. I'll just write guitar to your drum stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, we got to work with what we have. And
doing it tomorrow.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah. Good. I'm excited. I want to hear this. Yeah. It's like, we have to work with what we have, you know?
I mean, that sounds like it could be awesome. Like, you know, just
some of the parts,
song of drums and just
totally. I mean, some of the best parts we've ever had have come out of so many random things. Like John Fang, the core material of that was written when Jeremy was just sound checking a fucking new pedal. Like, and then the end of When Ocean Meets Sky, Cutting Corners in a Circle, like I had that piece for a long time, but it was just something that I played to myself. And my only idea for drums was just on the tom, the dig, 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 dig. It was like the only thing I had. And then I was like, this is all I had. And then Armando was like, all right, and did more with it. I'm like, this sounds infinitely better than what I had in my head, because it was just like we had to get outside of each other's, you know, comfort zones and just be able to do that. So we managed to get things done that way if we don't think about it too much and we just kind of fucking do it. You know what I mean?
Oh, band stuff.
Oh, you guys.
Cool.
Rock and roll.
I mean, I think we're sort of getting at time. I don't want to like keep you guys all night.
I'm not doing shit. I'm
Sorry,
hanging out my
5,000.
Clippers, man. I don't give
What's
a
up,
shit.
guys?
I see that you're.
I'm gonna go watch a
Jeremy
movie
from
later.
5,000.
To be honest, I'm gonna go watch a movie for once.
What movie?
Oh.
Judas and the Black Messiah.
Okay. Good. Let me know
Not
that.
not Sigourney Weaver movie. That's fine. That's fine.
Whatever.
I will watch a Sigourney Weaver movie tomorrow.
Okay.
Double feature. There you go.
But don't hold me to it.
I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you at all. It's fine.
Please just
will.
hold me. One of you guys, please just hold me.
I'll hold you if you call me Sigourney.
No.
Nice.
Oh man. Yeah. No, we're here. We're hanging out with you, man.
Yeah, and I should take this opportunity also to say that I was always super appreciative that
Good people.
let N.A.M.E become part of my GOMEC project that I had going on in the early 2000s. I was super stoked, you know, to have you guys, you know, working with the website and all that other stupid shit. I mean, I had my own tragedies that unfortunately happened and derailed a lot of the shit, but you know, I always loved your stuff, and when I first heard your, you know, the Sweetheart stuff, I loved it instantly.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
And I think actually Everything Falls Together were friends of yours too, that I think I got hooked up with them. I've lost contact with them, unfortunately, but
yeah,
that happens.
I mean, it happens. I mean, it's honestly kind of how this whole scene is at different levels. You see people at different times and sometimes, like, I've run into some guys that we worked with just in the business or just other bands that we haven't talked in a long time, years, and then been like, hey, what's up? And you kind of pick up where you leave off. It's like, it's one of those things where time can kind of stop if you're all within the same element of, you know, a situation. It's different than it's just regular interpersonal things. You don't see a friend for a while, it gets that awkward, like, so what do you do? How are you doing? Do you have kids or what's happening? You know, it's like, but this is like, well, fuck, we probably still like the same shit. So you're like, you know what I mean? So it's, you just bullshit. You can stand at a show and face the same fucking direction for an hour and you're having a blast. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh, you have to say hi to your parents for me.
Arms crossed out like this.
Yeah.
Like, I look bored, but I'm having the time of my life right now.
Totally.
Oh God.
So yeah, we have those subtle things. If you'll see me in the side corner in the dark with a glass of whiskey, nodding, probably in polyrhythms, while Jeremy plays on his chest, and then Armando will sit there and just stare up and nod. But that means we're having a blast and we like this band a lot.
God.
So many words from so little movement.
Jeremy, fuck you. That was funny. Oh my God. Yeah, music's cool and stuff.
Yeah, I fucking really hope that you know, I've never gotten a chance to see you guys play, so I really hope that East Coast thing works out.
Oh, you're fucking up, man.
I'm fucking up, but I first off, I hate to fly, so I'm hardly ever on the West Coast, and sucks too because my sister lives out there, and I feel like a shitty brother for not.
Road trip.
Yeah. Where do you live? Where do you live? Where do you live?
Oh, I'm in Jersey.
Oh, we'll play fucking Jersey. We'll hit Jersey. We'll hang out when we hit Jersey.
Okay.
Hopefully,
Eric's in Brooklyn.
We'll play you a song from our band live if you attend.
One musical number.
Maybe two.
Maybe two. And that's 48 minutes worth of material. Yeah, no, we'll play out there, man. We missed the fucking road. My God. I fucking, my iPhone hates me because it's like, hey, remember what you did last year this time? What about 2 years ago when you were in this state and doing this? It's like, fuck you.
You get off on nostalgia porn. You're like, oh yeah, you went to a buffet. Oh yeah, you went to a movie. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, you saw
yeah,
Megadeth.
I watched.
Yeah,
oh my God, a ball.
Yeah.
I watched the shit out of that movie. You know what? You know what? The one that popped up today was when we were at Twin Peaks. That's the one that popped on my phone today.
Oh.
Damn fine cup of coffee.
Yeah, damn cup joke. Yeah, we got cherry pie coffee at the fucking Twin Peaks.
No,
cafe.
they forgot like one of the things for me. I think they forgot the coffee, but they gave me the pie.
They gave you the pie. And the coffee. I think I got coffee. I didn't get coffee.
I was like, these, please.
Yeah,
I got the pie.
These. So but yeah, and it was
really good
us,
pie.
Like, it's us. It's just us in the rain, taking a picture in front of the Twin Peaks thing from years now. But it was I don't remember what tour that was, but it was So I mean, it just made me go, fuck! I miss staying in the rain with my friends.
Yeah, that was the Wolf King tour.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, that was So moments like that, technology just likes to stick it in and break it off, reminding me that we used to do cool things. So I will play live. I mean, the moment we get to play live, I know I'm gonna get hurt. It's like, fuck. Because usually you'd have a dead season from touring. Obviously, it's around like November to February. You know what I mean? It's like you kind of don't really do too much. Not many people really come out.
Yeah, winter holidays.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like, so then when it's like, all right, now we're going to get back into it by March. And then, nope, March is COVID. It's like, fuck you. So we got so N.A.M.E was even harder, and we got to do the Mathcore's Index Fest and stuff like that, and so it was cool I was very excited about that. We just got to get together and actually play music, which and then getting that taste was a fucking tease, and now I want to smash things. It's like I miss being in a room with these guys and just fucking making fun of each other, laughing at dumb shit, stupid internet videos, and making really good music together. Especially because like we had so much time in the studios to fuck. I miss moments like that. Like I was listening to all the so when we rehearse a set, sometimes we get stale on a set or something, and then we just start jamming. And we have actually some really good songs that we've done completely improv. And it was cool like listening back to that, and I was like, fuck, I never thought I'd miss just fucking around for 5 minutes in a room with these guys. You know what I mean? It's just it's weird. It's weird. I don't like
We'll get back there.
Yeah. Eventually. But we'll be there again.
Okay. Well, yeah. So again, thanks for coming on. I'm not sure who made it this far into their interview, but God bless you if you did. I really appreciate it.
We got long albums, long interviews. Fuck it, baby. We going for the records.
We got Parmy 5000, Sigourney Weaver.
A lot of ground covered. Vegan ice cream, everything.
Yeah. Vegan ice cream.
Accidents. There was tragedy. There's heartache. There's triumph.
There's fucking dogs.
There's dogs. There's cats.
Dog bonus content. If you made it this far, bonus dogs.
Like and subscribe.
Ring that bell.
I'm happy that I've never asked people to subscribe to my YouTube channel.
I know, yeah, we don't do that actually.
We don't do that. I'm happy that we don't do that because
yeah, me too.
It's obnoxious. Yeah.
Fuck it.
But if you do subscribe, that would be awesome. Okay. Okay. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Looking forward to it. We'll keep in touch, and I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Have a good one.
Thank you.